Imagine you're in a high-stakes pitch and you can feel the room slipping away. The natural instinct is to fill the dead air, throw out more stats, and talk faster to save the deal. We're trained from day one to view communication as the ultimate proof of competence. We think that if we just explain every detail, address every edge case, and lay out all our reasoning, our expertise will be undeniable. But there is a glaring flaw in that logic. In negotiations and power dynamics, talking more actually diminishes your authority. Your urgency signals desperation. Look at this judgment text from Law Number 4 of the 48 Laws of Power. It explicitly warns that the more you say, the more likely you are to say something foolish. Ultimate corporate power relies on the psychological vacuum, a tactic that forces your opponents to do the heavy lifting for you. Human beings are built to interpret signals. We constantly scan faces, tone, and body language to figure out where we stand. What we absolutely cannot tolerate is ambiguity. When someone asks you a question and you give a short, vague, or entirely unreadable answer, you instantly cut off the data supply they rely on to feel secure. That sudden lack of feedback immediately throws them off balance. They don't know what you're thinking, which means they can't predict your next move, triggering a deep internal discomfort. This animated diagram shows how the vacuum actually works in practice. As soon as one side stops transmitting information, it creates a psychological pressure drop. Nature abhors a vacuum, and so does a nervous negotiator. Unable to sit in that awkward silence, the other person will almost always try to fill the empty space. They start talking to win your approval, nervously babbling, and in the process, they drop their strategic filter. Weaponized silence converts a rival's need for feedback into a mechanism for self-sabotage. Look at this photograph of the Hall of Mirrors at Versailles. In the 17th century, this room was the absolute center of French power, and the stakes for the courtiers inside were life or death. King Louis XIV controlled this environment with a remarkably simple tactic. When ministers or diplomats pitched him an idea, he listened in total silence, offering nothing but an unreadable expression. He wouldn't argue or negotiate, he would just stare. That silence terrified his courtiers. Panicking under his gaze, they would talk on and on, accidentally revealing their true motives, their weaknesses, and their hidden agendas. We see this exact same mechanism applied in modern cultural markets. This photograph shows the artist Andy Warhol, who realized early in his career that trying to talk people into doing what he wanted usually backfired. So Warhol started shutting up. During interviews, he would offer only vague, ambiguous phrases. The interviewers couldn't handle the empty space, so they would twist themselves in circles, assigning deep, profound meaning to his silence. Whether managing a royal court or a pop art empire, the outcome is the same. By saying nothing, you force the people around you to bend over backwards, subverting their own interests just to please an unreadable master. The silent strategist holds the cards, but the chronic oversharer carries a massive, sometimes fatal, liability. Every extra word you utter increases the odds of slipping up. This passage details a brutal example from 1825. A Russian rebel leader was sentenced to hang, but the rope snapped. At the time, surviving a botched execution was considered divine providence and typically meant a pardon from Tsar Nicholas. But as the rebel stood up, he sarcastically yelled to the crowd that Russia didn't even know how to make a proper rope. When the Tsar heard the insult, he tore up the pardon, and the rebel was hanged again the next day. Once the words are out, you can never take them back. When you navigate a negotiation using silence instead, you extract the other person's secrets and leverage without giving up your own. They walk away feeling exposed, and they go home to obsessively analyze the very few things you did say. That extra attention artificially inflates the value of your words. This obsessive analysis by your counterpart transforms a standard office interaction into an unassailable, powerful enigma. But there is a catch. Silence is a scalpel, and if you swing it blindly in the wrong direction, it will severely damage your career. Insecure leaders often read silence as arrogance or subordination, directly violating Law 1 by inadvertently making the master feel threatened. Here in the reversal section, it explains that with a superior, Words can occasionally act as a deliberate smokescreen. By playing the chatty court jester, you project complete harmlessness. Looking less intelligent immediately lowers a threatened superior's defenses. In the economy of professional leverage, your words are a liability. By mastering the psychological vacuum, you stop pitching, you stop defending, and you simply let your rivals talk their way into handing you their power.